Alright guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do the last issue of Conan Battle of the Blackstone miniseries. There's 4 issues from Titan Comics. I enjoyed a lot, and this book is also a banger in my opinion. Covered by Thomas Nachlik. Sorry, probably butchered that. This guy. Anyway, so in the last issue, Conan was slain by the monster, and yeah, he's dead. And now there's only 3 people left. We have Brissa. I forgot this guy's name. Solomon Kane, and the spirit here who was first slain by the monster, but somehow he's now some kind of a entity that spouts gloom and doom. I know this guy's name, but I just forgot in a second. It comes back to me. Anyway, so it seems that they are now fading or something like that because Conan is now dead. So the apparition was also getting weaker and weaker. Says that Conan was more like an anchor, you know, and that's the reason that they are here in this timeline, because they all come from different time periods, right? And but he's still spouting gloom and doom. Brissa, who is, in my opinion, very a cool character. I hope they do something more with her in the future. And she's enraged, right, about that. You know, I'm from this time period. Why I'm disappearing? But even the ghost cannot answer that question, because he says, your aura is more like mine than you know. Death called for you many years ago, but your spirit stayed whole. Probably I led by saying that I hope that they do something with her. I'm giving away that she is, gonna survive. Okay. Anyway. Moving on, Solomon Kane is praying, but then I believe this name is Kilowan, I believe, right? He says, no, it cannot end like this, but he has studied the arcane magics and incantations and, you know, all the dangers. He has stored them in his head. He studied that along, but Solomon Kane says, hey, you're not going to do that because he's a man of God, right? That's an affront to him, so he says that's devilry, so he's want to kill him on the spot if he's going to do that. But Kilwan says, no, it's the only way to survive. It's the only way we can move forward. But he says, if it goes wrong, you have the permission to kill me. So we need a way forward that requires knowledge and power. And the fastest route to both is an exchange. So he grabs a knife, he does an incantation, and he stabs himself in the eye. What? Oh my God. Jonas Scharf, and Jonas Scharf is the artist. He's a great artist. I like him a lot. Jim Zub, great writer for the Conan series. I also like these lettering. Feels older, you know, classic and cool. Coloring is nice too. Has a lot of the color green always comes back. Brown, red, green, something like that, and of course black. Anyway. So there's energy leaking from him, and he's calling upon everyone to chime in, basically bringing back, or trying to bring back, the Cimmerian, right? Even Solomon Kane, who is now, says, well, I'm not, you made me a conspirator in this pagan plane. And he says, damn us all. And yeah. So this guy's James Allison, right? He's the spirit. Conan comes back with a jolt. So Conan says, I was quite dead, but no longer, he says. You sold your soul for the savage. Not exactly. Like Odin the Norseman, I asked for insight, a way to see paths of power normally closed to mortal minds. And he sees spirits. He sees a spectral parade of pigs going to a certain place, and he says to the group that he needs to go, or we all, or they all, needs to go to that place where the spirits of the pigs are going. All right. Of course, Conan wants in because he wants to have vengeance, right? And they are just walking to the destination, following these pigs group, but it seems that Kirowan, I said Kirowan, but with L, but it's with an R, is the only one that can see them, but seems that James Allison's spirit sputters, growing weaker as they approach their ultimate destination. Why is he getting weaker? I'm not entirely sure. It's not really explained. Anyway, so they're here, and we see this, well, the beast that has slain them through time over and over again. Well, I mean, well, they are not here on the cover, but, you know, a lot of people died, you know, that went on the journey. So this creature senses then Conan and his friends, well, companions, and they have an attack because this is a some kind of a, well, this is the black stone, but more like what is not really a casket, maybe it is, but more like an altar. Yeah, I believe it's an altar. And I didn't know that Kieran can shoot laser beams from his eyes, which looks pretty fun. Sorry for the resolution coming back and forth, but yeah. Some cool shots here. And then we have a fight scene that we've seen in many, many Conan books. Again, I mean, we've seen this, that he is, you know, going back to back with his companion, defending, and we see some cool, you know, cleaving and butchering and chopping off limbs, right? Solomon Kane believes in a righteous God locked in a war against the forces of darkness. His cause is just, his aim is true, and loathsome fear can be overcome with a fervent power of faith. He faced his fiendish foe years ago, though his mind struggles to remember. Back then, the beast was banished before it could fully form, but now it's wholly and seemingly unstoppable. And he is praying to his Lord and Savior. Yeah, this creature has killed a lot of people, and it seems indestructible. But then somehow, John, what's his name again? Wait a minute. Not yet, but it says Kieran is using his power to keep the pigs at bay that wants to, you know, fight for this creature. The only thing that I do not know is why this creature is actually here, right? I mean, maybe it was mentioned before in the story, but I can't remember anymore. Probably something about, you know, ending the world or something like that. You know, it's always something like that. But I don't mind. And but then we see Allison Essence resonate with the shadowy altar. A burst of light emanates outward, brings the author's senses back from the brink. How? I don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't know, he loses power or something. But it says here that he's growing weaker as he approaches his ultimate destination. But now that he is here, he's now being fully restored. Like I said, it's not very clear how it works. Anyway, but Solomon Kane praying, for thine is the kingdom of heaven, thine is the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. And he dies. Solomon Kane knows he is God's instrument against foul man or monster for as long as he may live. Well, now he's dead. But then the writer's mind imagines a world where the beast can be brought low, and his spirit expends earth-shaking energy to make that thought into reality. So then Kieran says, strike now. And now the creature that was once upon a time invulnerable and cannot be killed can now be damaged, hurt, bleed, and possibly die. Rissa then strikes the altar, and the altar is being destroyed. She's using also the pig's the pig's sacred spear from Brule. What happened to this guy? I believe Brule gave her the spear in the dream world. Yeah, that was it. All right. Charged with the powers of our ancestors, fueled by dreams of redemption. And then a big explosion, the altar, you know, destroyed. It says, the cycle concluded, the hunt fulfilled, life, death, growth, rots. And then it's over. Sort of. I mean, time has been reset. Everyone that has died is now alive again because it never happened. And it feels like a cop-out, but there's some changes. Like Kieran, who has now an eye patch. He hasn't an eye patch before because this scene has been played out in issue 1, right? And then we have also Agnes here, who kills this man. I believe he was, I don't know, maybe a bandit or thief or murderer. I don't know, maybe an assassin. But now she lets him live. And then we have Solomon Kane here praying. Mostly he was uneasy. Now he feels at peace. And we also have Conan, who normally would pick, grab this stone. Conan feels breath pull sharp between his teeth. His shoulder begins to tense as his head starts to throb. But it passes. A sigil of no consequence, a sign he does not know, a token left in the dirt. And he is continuing with his journey, not picking up the stone, otherwise it will start all over again. And then we see Brissa and, what's his name, Thomas? Sorry. What's his name again? The writer? Yeah. Allison. Thomas Allison, right? So he's here in the Beyond Dreams and Nightmare, so let's say limbo. He is now anchored to Bruel's spear, that is now, Brissa's spear, somehow. And he thought that he would just drift into oblivion, to the afterlife, but seems that whatever power, left them here has plans for them, he says. The hunt is over, the curse is broken, and the future is yet unwritten. All I know is that the word has been unleashed and its story is incomplete. She says, the word? You mean the sign? No. The sign of the black stone was a mark placed on us, but the word is the source of its power. When it was slain by the black stone beast, for a moment my spirit soared past all limits and glimpsed a presence like no other. Meaning, this story is not over. Well, this particular story is over, but the Curse of the Black Stone will probably continue in another book, because we are getting introduced to none other than Shuma Gorath. And you might think, wait a minute, I may heard that name before. That is actually right, because Shuma Gorath was once upon a time a Marvel villain, a demon that mostly battled, magic beings like Doctor Strange. But because of legal issues, because Robert E. Howard has, I believe, created it along with, let me see how this creators to have it before me, Frank Bruno and Steve Englehart. So Marvel cannot use this name anymore. And I didn't even know that Shuma Gorath was a Robert E. Howard creation. I always thought it was part of Marvel, right? Because I've seen Shuma Gorath many, many times. That's why they changed the name to I don't know what's Gargantos. Yes, because the movie was the latest Doctor Strange movie was this creature called Gargantos, and I thought, wait a minute, this is Shuma Gorath. Why they changed? Well, this is the reason: legal issues. So it seems that we are not getting rid of the Blackstone anytime soon, and this creature is pretty mighty. I hope we're going to see it soon. So here's some covers from this issue. Overall, this series is pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised, actually. So I cannot wait to, have more mini-series from Titan Comics. Again, I said it many times, but Titan Comics is, when it comes to Conan books, fantastic, freaking fantastic. Chapeau. Thumbs up, absolutely. Guys, let me know in the comments what you think about it. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and all that YouTube jazz. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.